What is up, everybody? Welcome into Full Time, where in just a few moments, after I gave you the Premier League preview, I will give you my preview for the other league that would be in consideration for best in the world, although they can't call themselves that right now, but La Liga, their season will begin. We weren't sure it was going to begin. There's always torment and issues with the Spanish season, but we'll get it going, and we'll get to see Barcelona, Real Madrid. We'll get to that shortly. I did give you my Premier League preview last week. A couple observations. I woke up. I'm here on the west coast of the United States, so got up around 4:20 to watch my favorite team, West Ham, take on Manchester United. It was abundantly clear moments into the game that West Ham were not ready for the season, could not beat a defender, could not complete a pass. They were hammered 5-0. My enthusiasm for the Premier League quickly started to dwindle. I'm still very excited. Again, most excited I've been for that league. In any year I can remember, it's just so big from top to bottom. Well, from the top. Bottom, we don't care. Sunday, me being a flag-waving American, look, I'm going to be upfront with you. Anyone involved in soccer who has an accent like mine does not get a full deck. We have to fight from behind. Whether you're a broadcaster, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, you have to prove yourself 3 or 4 times as much because you are American. And you talk like this. It's a fact. I've been dealing with my whole life in broadcasting. Lost a lot of important gigs because I was American. I've seen coaches. I think Bob Bradley comes to mind. And Christian Pulisic, I knew deep, despite him being a record transfer for Chelsea, as the season approached, no matter how much I heard from Frank Lampard that he was going to play, that he loved him, that Christian Pulisic shortened his summer vacation so he get back with Chelsea, no matter how much positive news I heard, I knew he wasn't going to be in the starting 11. I just knew it because he's American. And then, Sunday morning, I see the lineups for Manchester United, Chelsea. Christian Pulisic, not in the starting 11. Comes in the 55th minute. Looking, first of all, and I'm hearing some people on Twitter, because I tweeted about it, saying that you can't let him go there in the Theater of Dreams at Old Trafford. And you guys, first of all, it's not 1999. And I think that's exactly where you want to give this kid his chance, to come out there and say, I'm a player. I'm starting for Chelsea, Manchester United. That moment's gone. Frank Lampard, the biggest loser of the weekend, he fouled it up. I know he's going to keep his job there, but that was awful. I could have coached that much better. Just saying. All right, let's get into this La Liga preview. I got that off my chest. So La Liga looking to move back towards the Premier League as the best league in the world, when Real Madrid was the best club in the world and Lionel Messi the best player. Lionel Messi probably is still the best player in the world, although I think there is debate that's starting to rumble behind him. Age more than anything else. So we look at how La Liga has fallen. There are a lot of things have to fall in place for this league to move back up or surpass the Premier League. One thing that has to happen, it has to get a more productive middle class. Teams that will finish from 6th, 5th through 10th place. They have a lot of scrappy teams that have done well. I think Getafe finished 5th or 6th. Getafe is a great story, but they're not going to be spending money. That's not the kind of team you want to finish 5th. You want a big money club. And there are some good candidates there in Spain. The 2 teams from Sevilla and Betis, who were both real active. Betis signed Nabil Fekir. Something happens in Spain a lot of the times. They get these players for a lot cheaper than if Nabil Fekir, who was rumored to be going to Liverpool, would have. I think he was valued at 60 million euros for Liverpool. He ends up signing for 20 million euros at Betis. Betis loses Giovanni Lo Celso. I'm not talking about Betis. Sevilla had a ton of new signings. Julian Lopetegui, who, although he's hit a few speed bumps as a coach, is a big name. And you want big names in there. And he's obviously well regarded. So I think that's a guy. Those are a couple candidates that you'd be happy to finish there. Sevilla obviously has an incredible pedigree in there. Real Sociedad is a team that I'm very intrigued to see. Always a good fertile ground for developing young players. One thing I think about Real Sociedad, they're going to be a fun young team to watch. They have Asier Iaramendi. Remember, he plays for Real Madrid, but Real Sociedad was his club. I think that's a chance for a guy as well to make it. Alexander Isak, 19-year-old Swedish attacker. That's another team that I think needs to form that middle of the pack for Spain for it to get better. Now I'm going to move to the top 4 of the Spanish standings. I don't think there's going to be any surprises here. It's the same 4 teams that finished at the top 4 a season ago, pretty much in the same order. Well, not exactly. The other thing that Spain needs to do is Valencia, who is my pick to finish 4th. They need Valencia to have a nice run in the Champions League. Valencia did really well. They gambled last summer making some big signings that they were going to make the Champions League, and they scraped by, and they made it. Now they can reap the benefits. They have a good squad already in place. They won the Copa del Rey, beating Barcelona, so there's a lot of good momentum behind this club, and I think they are a team that could make some noise in the Champions League. You know, you want to see them final 16 at the very least. Maybe they could be a surprise team in the quarterfinals. They did make some moves. Maxi Gomez is a name you want to watch. And this is another guy that they got at a good price that was rumored to be going, I believe, to West Ham for a much higher price. So here he is, and now he goes to Spain. He comes from Celta, so he comes from a team that finished lower there in the La Liga standings. Jasper Cillessen comes over from Barcelona, where he will be the number 1 there. He's a good goalkeeper. So Valencia have 2 good upgrades there. Denis Cherisev of Russian World Cup fame also in there. Rodrigo's a good striker at the front. And Dani Parejo, and if you look, he's the guy that, the straw that stirs the drink. Yes. Not many soft spots in that 11. It's strong. Depth, we'll have to see. But I think Valencia could do some real damage. Let's go to number 3. It's Atletico Madrid, who finished 2nd last season, and I like what they did a lot. This team never ceases to amaze me, and underestimate them at your own peril because you'll look bad. They have arguably maybe the best manager in the world, although Jurgen Klopp I'd put at number 1 right now, but Diego Simeone number 2 because he didn't have his best season after letting Juventus off the ropes in the Champions League. They have had an incredibly active summer. Some players leaving, some players going. Antoine Griezmann is gone, and it was time. It was time for Griezmann to move on. He goes to Barcelona. Diego Godin. You need to try something new. They also sold Lucas Hernandez for 80 million euros. I'm going to keep it at euros because it's good round numbers. Lucas Hernandez didn't really play for Atletico, and they got 80 million for him to go to Bayern Munich. 70 million for Rodri, who did play, and now is going to go to Manchester City. So they're selling to big clubs. They have a lot of money. That's about when you look at the players they sold, Griezmann, Rodri, Lucas Hernandez, you're looking at $250 million, if not more. So they're going to spend. They didn't spend all of it, but they did spend a lot of it on João Felix, who is the most exciting teenage player since we saw Kylian Mbappe a couple years ago with Monaco. He's doing great in the preseason, but they're going to put a lot of responsibility on his very young shoulders. Will he be able to respond? I think so, but I don't think they'll be able to keep with the top 2, and I think Real Madrid's going to figure things out as the season goes on. But Atletico Madrid is going to be there in 3rd place. They have a good back line. They have Thomas Lemar. They have Koke. They have Saul in the midfield. Very good team and a great Champions League pedigree. I'm sure they will be there in the round of 16 come Champions League knockouts. 2nd place, as I look through my notes, here we go, Real Madrid. Real Madrid, Zinedine Zidane is back. They were active in the offseason, but not as active as I thought, although they were a little quiet, but you had to look really closely to where they were making some noise. Obviously, Eden Hazard was the big move. Eder Militao from Porto. Luka Jokic, who is the wild card here, and I think his star is going to rise the most through this season because of what he did at Eintracht Frankfurt. He's a really good-looking player. Ferland Mendy came over from Lyon. All these are around 45 to 60 million euros, and Rodrigo came from Santos in Brazil. They held on to Bale. I don't think he's going to play. But this young team and some of the young players like Vinicius, I think, are going to get better. I think Jokic is going to push Benzema, who had a great year, up there in the attack. In the midfield, they are strong. Kroos, Modric, who's getting up there in years. They'll probably look for someone to fill his position. And Casemiro, who was huge for the Brazil national team at the Copa America, who won the thing. So that midfield looks good. And then I think you get Hazard there with Benzema and Vinicius and a little Luka Jokic. And they still may spend some money. Now we hear that maybe Neymar might be going to them or to Barcelona. That's a story that we might have to redo this preview when that shoe drops, but it hasn't dropped just yet. So, by the way, I forgot to say one thing. Atletico Madrid, let me backtrack quick. Best goalkeeper in the world, Jean Oblak. You heard it from me. He is the best goalkeeper in the world. But they'll still finish third. So Real Madrid, way off their regular goal-scoring prowess a season ago. I think they would like to do it. Zidane, they fired 2 coaches last season. Zidane is a winner, and he's done well, and he has a vision. And I have faith in him. So Real Madrid will be much better than last season. Look, sometimes you kind of hit rock bottom. They kind of hit rock bottom from their standards. After winning all those 3 straight Champions League triumphs, you kind of have to fall back and reset after Ronaldo and some other parts moved here and there. They've had some injury issues as well. And we'll have to do Asensio is obviously at the top of that list of guys they'll have to fix with, but still a very strong team. And I think there's still some parts. That brings me to Barcelona. This is the best Barcelona team I have seen since they won the Champions League in 2015. Lionel Messi has a lot to work with there. Ernesto Valverde as well. Ernesto Valverde, who got a lot of criticism for what he did last season. I like to blame the players a lot, too, and I thought Valverde got way too much of the blame for their shortcomings. Players didn't deliver in that game against Liverpool. They needed 1 goal, and they didn't get it. They have not conceded their crown in the last 2 years. Messi had his strange address to the fans where he's obviously said they're still feeling that loss to Liverpool, but he said, hey, we won the La Liga championship again, and that's no minor detail. And it isn't. But look, they got to win the Champions League. They're going to win the Spain. They're just so well set, and they might if they get Neymar. But they have Antoine Griezmann. Frankie de Jong comes over, so the midfield has been really restocked. They have that kind of guy. They just have that one bad result. I would say something about their Champions League shortcomings. They made progress in the Champions League. Remember, they flamed out in the quarterfinals. As bad as Liverpool was, it was in the semifinal. So at least they progressed from previous years where they were knocked in back-to-back quarterfinals. They still have Philippe Coutinho. They still have Ousmane Dembele. So these guys are going to be coming off the bench. And they're going to be a real fun watch, especially if they add Neymar. I get the feeling, look, they really want that to happen. It's going to happen. So Barcelona will win the Spanish League. Big year for the Spanish League. They don't have the big exposure in some countries with the league. That's a shame. But it's important that you pay attention to it. They don't have the marketing or anything behind it like the English Premier League. But they have some good teams, good young players as well to watch there as we go. Hey, please subscribe to my YouTube page. I need your support, Max Bredos. I love your support. I love to have this conversation. Any question about Spain or the Premier League, drop them there in my comments section, and we'll get to it next week. That's it. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.